Okay, this is kind of a fun one. Again, it's kind of one of those silly stories, but I like these because it shows women keep saying we're as good as men, and then we say, okay, prove it, prove it. Well, we can't exactly, and they end up getting absolutely wrecked. And then when we point it out, we're called, I don't know, ists or phobes or bigots or whatever. All you have to do is look at reality. Look at reality and it tells you what it is. An all-female team joins a men's league and they get absolutely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. Speaking of being destroyed, how about destroying body fat? From today's sponsor is takelean.com. About destroying fat. Everybody's talking about weight loss injections, that hollowed out Hollywood gaunt face, and that they're so dramatic. But what you need when you need to lose weight, but you don't have money or you don't want those jabs, that's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're not as hungry. Doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. Let's get you started off with 15% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Visit takelean.com and enter Bachelor 15, all in caps, BACHELOR, Bachelor, all caps, 15, for your 15% off discount. That's promo code Bachelor 15 at takelean.com and destroy that body fat. They say all-female soccer team enters men's league, and it goes exactly how you would expect. A group of quote-unquote transitioning men, that is, biological women trying but failing to become men, formed a soccer team in Spain to play in a league of all-male teams, and the results were about as lopsided as you'd expect. The team, Phoenix FC, because the mythical avian creature, the phoenix, represents rebirth, played its first game recently in the 5th tier of Spanish football, also known as soccer, and they lost their first game by a score of 19-0. 19-0.
Everything woke turns to shit.
Phoenix is a team of transitioning men that are actually women, created entirely by transitioning men. But I think it's more than that. A family. It's a family, a safe space where you can be free and express yourself however you want and however you really feel. Team captain Luke Ibanez told Reuters. Well, today I feel like an Apache helicopter. Who could have seen this coming? Well, anyone who's familiar with that mountain of evidence and common sense that clearly demonstrates that biological men are superior to women when it comes to physical activities. Add this to the laundry list of cases that prove men and women should not be competing in athletic competition against each other. However, I have to say that I'm of two minds about this peculiar case. The fight that we typically have is about biological men competing against women. Pricks like Leah Thomas take spots from women and unfairly crush the dreams with no remorse. But this is the opposite. It's biological women trying to compete against men. I suppose in theory that this is less problematic. These women could have started shooting themselves up with testosterone and then competed still against women, which would have given them an unfair advantage. They took the more fair but less advantageous for themselves route here. Me personally, I'm fine with this. I look at it like this. If you're a guy that wants to pretend he's a woman, you compete in the men's division because the women's should be left to the women. If you're a woman that is taking testosterone and beefing up your testosterone to where it's getting closer to levels of men, you should also be competing in the men's division. And if you say that's not fair, then make one division for all the people that are pretending to be something else. So the guys that say that they're women and the women that say they're guys, they can play in all one league, and then have the biological men's and the biological women's. We can have 3 divisions. We have 2. It's not a big deal. We can have 3. And what you're going to find is if the teams are split evenly, you'll have good competition. But if you have a team of men that say they're women competing against a team of women that say they're men, those women that are saying they're men will get crushed. And this is proof of it right here. But I'm fine. If this is how they want to do it, fine. Just leave the women's alone. I don't want dudes in there crushing up women. They say at the same time, it's important to have men's spaces remain intact. From Boy Scouts to video games, gender cultists are trying to destroy every last bastion of secluded manhood in society. So while I commend these ladyboys for not beating up on other women, I have to say I don't really approve of competing in men's spaces either. While it's not as bad for sure, it has to be uncomfortable for a man to be forced to crush women in competition. I guess that's the lesser of two evils. And I do agree with this. I really do agree. We need to leave men's spaces alone. They have links to other stuff. Let me see what they say. We do need to have men's spaces just for men. Because women constantly, this is what happens, ironically. And it always happens the same way. Men have a space. Men's golf clubs, a whiskey bar, a cigar lounge, a poker room, a pinball, or excuse me, a pool hall, a men's bowling league, men's tennis, men's sports league, whatever it is. Then women come into it and they say, we want to be included. Now, smart men say no. Smart men say no. But the dumb men say, hey, you know what? It might be a little nice to have some ladies in here. Ladies are not hard to look at. They're fun to talk to. Women can be sweet. They seem sweet. They seem nice. They just wanna participate. And then they get in the door. And then slowly but surely, the feminists come in. And they gain more women. And they gain more women. And then they need to have representation as one of the club presidents or as one of the founding members, or they need to have say and control of how things go because we're part of this community too. Then the women come in and they promote within and they get more women in there. And before you know it, women are just a slightly higher number than the men's space. Then what do women start to do? We don't feel safe. We don't feel safe around men. These men are loud. They tell raunchy jokes. They're inappropriate. They fart. They smell. They're rude. We don't feel safe. So we need the men to leave. And then they try to kick out the men. Or the men get so fed up with the BS that the guys just leave. And then they want to start up their own club again. And in the meantime, that thing that men made, created, enjoyed, and were exclusive in, now men are gone. And I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago in a video, but when I was walking out of a store, and it was just one of the local grocery stores or shopping stores or something, as I walked out, two young girls, probably 12, 15, somewhere around there, said, excuse me, sir, would you like to buy or donate or support blah, blah, blah. I wasn't paying attention. My head was thinking about something else. And they said, would you like to support blah, blah, blah? And I turned to them and I went to say, no, thank you. And I did. I said, oh, no, thank you. But I appreciate it. And before I turned away, I noticed they were both in Boy Scout uniforms. I know Boy Scout uniforms. I wore a Boy Scout uniform for several years. I was in the Boy Scouts. I know what a Boy Scout uniform looks like. It wasn't Girl Scouts. It wasn't Brownies, because the Girl Scouts are green and the Brownies are brown. These were Boy Scouts. And I said, there's two girls here with their mother doing something for the Boy Scouts. And I just said, you know what? This is what happens. This is a perfect example of what's happening to men. And then when men say, I don't like this, I do not like this, I don't like it, then we're called problematic. Then we're called the problem. Then we're called toxic. Then we're the bad guys. But if we try to go into women's space, well, why do you want to be in women's space? Why can't you leave women alone? Why do you have to ruin their thing? Women don't feel safe around you. Well, then why do you come into ours? And it just is infuriating me. It's so infuriating to me. And it's tiring. And this is how DEI got into video games. How DEI got into Dungeons and Dragons. How DEI got into Hollywood. How DEI is trying to get into Warhammer 40K. How DEI got into Magic the Gathering. And guess what is now failing because of DEI and inclusivity and the women? Magic the Gathering and the card games and Dungeons and Dragons and video games and movies and comic books.
Everything woke turns to shit.
That we let them, we don't, and this is why men say we need to gate guard. We need to gate off and be exclusive. Nobody gets to join our shit. This is a men's thing. Now, if you want to do it, fine. Buy your own cards, play with other women. Well, there's not enough other women. Tough. Deal with it. Deal with it. Because every time we give them just a sliver, a whisper into something that we like, they come in with their feminism and their bullshit and ruin it for the rest of us. Every single time. Pride Month finally comes for one of the last bastions of manhood. This is, again, from the Daily Caller. Gamers, yeah. When is this from? This is from June 3rd of 2024. I wasn't expecting to read this, but this is one of the links that they have in this original story, and I'm just kind of reading out of curiosity. Gamers, they're targeting gamers. We should all be used to the Rainbow Brigade ruining everything by now. Even normal Americans who aren't homophobic or phobic or hateful toward other in the slightest have to be annoyed by the bombardment of rainbow logos and pride pandering and excessive sexualization of everything that happens in video games now. Gaming itself has been long compromised, but old reliable Call of Duty has always been where the boys can congregate. No longer. The Pride Army has won. Call of Duty now has #Pride. That's what happens. And Ubisoft is literally collapsing. Ubisoft is almost drowned. It's in quicksand, and it's below water. It's just got a straw stuck slightly above. Just Ubisoft is gasping for sweet air. It's almost dead. It's on life support. Why? Because they've got DEI departments and feminization and inclusivity, and now they're hiring programmers because of their skin color, but only if they're women, and women only if they say they're women, and people that think they're women. And I saw a picture of the diversity now at Ubisoft. It was a picture of 100 white Karens, and I think maybe there was a brown person in there, maybe. And so that's the new diversity, all white females. But they say they're diverse. Well, you guys get it. I mean, I don't want a group of women just because they call themselves men. I don't want them playing in a men's league. I mean, it is better than a bunch of dudes playing in the women's league and just like destroying them. I don't like that either. But you know what? These women that want to call themselves men that want to call themselves women, put them in their own thing. Put them in their own group. Leave men's stuff alone. I'm so tired of it. Just leave men's stuff alone.